eyes closed and dreams go free. Got an angel next to me. Hold me close so I can breathe. Let me go so I can live. Where do we go from here? Take me far away, so we can stop the time.
Shh, Captain Rion, we got him on the run. Captain Rion, smoke him.
Where do we go from here? Take me far away, so we can stop the time, and love will take its place. It will be tonight when I turn on the world for you. It will be tonight when I turn on the stars for you. It will be tonight when I turn off the world for you. It will be tonight when I turn up the stars. I turn up the stars for you. Forget your past. I'm here.
Namaste and Lakech, my family, and welcome to another Team Light Interviews. I'm your hostess with the mostest, Rion, here with the very gifted and talented Miss Giselle Koy. Giselle, how are you doing?
Oh my God, so good. I just want to start with something. Can I just begin this?
Yes, you can.
Okay, so let me start with this. For all of you who don't know, Rion is an ancient friend of mine. And when I say ancient, I mean ancient, like epic ancient, but also in this lifetime, we have a history. So a lot of you don't know, we had a TV show 8 years ago called The Daily Vibe. And I'm bringing this up because it's going to show something that's really important and relevant to today's conversation. So we had this show. We were like 8 years ago in California sharing what we thought to be the highest truth, all about levels of coherence. We were just waking up to our galactic origins, realizing who we were. So much happening then. It was such a really clean, sweet, innocent vibe. Cut to 8 years later, here we are sitting down again. There's like a little mini Daily Vibe interview. And look what has changed. Basically everything. What we didn't know then is how this war was going to be put upon us for what? For our beautiful DNA. We did not know that all of this stuff happening on the planet was going to be for the manipulation of our beautiful, angelic, God-given, Christed Adam DNA, which we have. And that is the thing that most people on Earth, most people in other universes want from us. It's the basis of a lot of the wars going on a galactic level. So when you look at the difference between now and then, it has been a war nonstop for taking the cognizant dissonance away. We're still here fighting. And what a viewpoint in 8 years. Look at what we've gone through. Could we have predicted this?
Really couldn't have. I mean, honestly, looking back, we were just, I felt like I was like a young kid, even though
We
I
were
was
kids.
I was like 29, 30, but I was like, oh, I didn't know anything. You know, looking back on myself at the beginning, you know, just board shorts, a ball of water, and a dream, you know, just, you know, up in the Red Rocks. It's been quite a journey just to have experienced so many things and gone through so many integrity tests and power tests and the amount of, you know, cognitive presence that you need to activate that dormant DNA and then even know what that is, especially since I didn't really have anyone to look up to. I knew there were people that were like, you know, Terrence McKenna and some guys that are like, I took a bunch of mushrooms and this is what I'm seeing. I was like, I'm dead sober staring through my third eye. Like, I didn't get it. I didn't have a lot of the insights or the way that I guess people normally go about finding the spirit realm or the spirit world through, you know, experimental stuff or whatnot. For me, it was more of an activation, but really more of like I was forced to wake up. That's how I felt when I woke up. Looking back on it, that was not a slow wake up for someone to go from, you know, unconscious, yo bro, surfer dude from Manhattan Beach, Cali, to like multidimensional, know who my higher selves are, know what their jobs are, and activational on the planet. So it's definitely been a journey. You want to talk about some of the missions we've been on?
Oh my God. Shall we share some?
Yes.
I mean, people don't know this. We have such a history. Which one do you want to start with?
Well, Florida was fun. Grid the Keys.
Florida. That was amazing. Well, let's start with this. 11, 11, 11, or all the 11s, is when I met you. I walked into that party in Sedona. I was just starting to come to Sedona. And I saw you, Jason, Raw was there. And I just went, oh my God, there's my team.
Right.
And that's when I was starting to remember this higher level of ourselves that operates on this galactic level. And of course, you being a guardian and you taking that role, we just immediately had a mind meld and we said, let's go. It was like literally, let's go. We went straight to Florida. We did a mission there. Remember we were in the car and you were like asking me questions and you're like, oh my God, you're a galactic channel. Like all these things. This is what happens when DNA gets together like this. It just starts awakening. Which is what's going to happen in April also. It's like you get this many souls together on this awakening, massive new golden civilization, my subject today, how we're going to build that. And so you get this together, it awakens, and here we are now. Here we are now, still in the conversation. Still cranking. Okay, from there we did Germany. That was crazy.
Germany was crazy. We were in Ruhpolding, Germany. And
we were tricked into going there.
I don't know how they convinced us to go to Ruhpolding, Germany.
Yeah.
Very nice people that we stayed with. Probably the only light workers in Ruhpolding, Germany. It was very interesting, gridding Eagle's Nest.
We didn't even know it was Eagle's Nest.
Didn't even know it was Eagle's Nest.
And there we were.
And then assisting those souls that were specifically there that were channeling the Palladians they had kidnapped.
The real sisters still held in this perpetuity that needed to be released.
Yes.
Those were the women at the time that were bringing in this higher knowledge used for what kind of purposes? We know what kind of purposes.
Right.
Right?
You're doing an activation or a mission to keep you safe. You might not know where or when you're going to arrive at a place, what you're doing there. They do that because in more of a strategic manner, if you don't know where you're going or why, nothing else can read your Akashic record and actually target you or find out where you're going because you yourself don't know. So a lot of our higher selves play this game with us. I call it dangling the carrot.
Right.
They'll give you all these reasons why you're supposed to go to a place.
Yeah.
And then you get there, it's nothing like you thought it was going to be. And then it's just mission mode the whole time.
It so was.
They play with time a lot. A lot of the locations we've gone to, usually there's guards or someone there guarding the gate or whatnot. So what they do for me is like, okay, get there. The guards get there at 7:30, 7:35. We'll be there at 6. Hop the fence, go get your job done. You're out of there before the first guard gets there. So the way that your higher selves move you around the planet, and for a lot of the really gifted beings out there doing grid work or doing soul transport, that was my specialty, was soul transport, which is picking up souls, transporting them from point A to point B. Rion Airlines is what I like to go by. Welcome to Rion Airlines. Please no fighting in the back of the airplane. So we used to transport a lot of souls, and with that also comes also activating your dormant DNA. So a lot of these places that you shall visit around the planet, especially when you're doing these activations, is also picking up a piece of your soul piece. And I know you just went to Egypt.
Changed my life.
Yes, let's talk
Changed
about
my
that.
life. So cut to us now, still on our mission, but on higher levels. Still on point. You as guardian, me as designer, architect, working in all these areas, all of us doing our mission at a higher level now. So right now is the really potent time for all these new activations and memories because it's kind of coming on online. Same level as disclosure. The more truth we're finding out, the more we're awakening. It's one big giant concert, which is working together. So for me, I went to Egypt, changed my life. I walked in, and first thing I saw was footprints in these so-called cut stones that were not cut stones. They were poured concrete. That just took me down a whole different knowledge of how all the golden civilizations have been built on Earth. Let's talk about Egypt. A lot of it was poured. There's a lot of laser work. Let's talk about all of the beautiful old neoclassical cities. Let's talk about how that architecture, which was so sublime, such technology, amazing. You walk into Egypt. You walk through the Temple of Dendera. There is actually technology in the way that is designed. The energy going around the massive columns, the space the columns take in the space, that is all stuff that has been abandoned or forgotten and erased. It wasn't until 1971, I think, that Putin released the records of Tartaria.
Right.
everyone's turning on and waking up to the Tartarian Empire, which was a lot of that architecture that carried a lot of the things, buildings as free energy temples.
Yes.
So that's where we're going back. But we're going back on many new levels because we're bringing the frequency of beauty. We're bringing all this technology. We're bringing all of our new awakened DNA. And it's just a very fascinating beginning of the new golden civilization. Why are so many of us just on fire with creating things? That's my life right now. My pivot is I'm on fire with interior design. It could be a room. It could be a tall building. It can be a campus. It can be a healing center, anything in the wellness state, anything to bring more coherence into our personal fields, into our physical fields, into our environments. And that's what's happening now. So it's super exciting.
So besides some of the ancient temples that you have visited, was there anything else, any other place that really intrigues you?
Yeah, let me tell you about Grand Canyon. So
Yeah.
if you this is my theory. So if you take a drone or an airplane and look at the Grand Canyon from an aerial point of view, it's really just a spine with all these things going up into it. It is obvious it's an ancient mining site. You can see we're old, millions of years old, who knows how old, don't say dates, but excavators came in and just dug giant pieces of earth. So everyone says it's a sacred site. I don't know. It's an old mining site. Also, underneath the Grand Canyon is raw gold, not bricks, but there's tons of gold there, which proves the theory. So anyway, I'm just throwing it out there if anyone wants to talk to me about that.
I have a little bit to say about that. I know the Grand Canyon and Kincaid, what he found in that cave in the early 1900s, and how they kind of covered it up. And it was, there was articles in the newspapers about it that he found old Buddhist and Egyptian statues in a cave in the Grand Canyon, and how even to this day that the entire Grand Canyon and many of those areas are off limits. Right. So even for flying,
100%.
they're off limits. So there's a reason why they're trying to keep you out of that area, because you may find some information that completely supersedes the fake narrative and history that we've been taught in school. That's why they want to keep you out of there. Not to mention spiritually, energetically, which I have found not only in the Grand Canyon, which is very similar, but in Tiwanaku, what happens is if there is an ancient city under the ground, or an ancient city, really under the ground, hence buried or hidden. The issue is that when you walk over that area or you are experiencing, within that range, what happens is you're able to punch in and utilize the city's energy and the consciousness coming from the ground. So what I have found is instead of having human beings walk into certain locations and become activated just by the history of what's gone on the planet in that space, what happens is they rather keep you out of it. So in Tiwanaku is a very similar thing. They did not let anyone have any land around that plateau. I mean, it was completely owned by the government and controlled by the government. The reason being is that a human being, we are a walking transceiver. And you may think, 10,000, 15,000 years ago was so long ago. Not if everything is recorded and all those structures and energetic structures are still viable in the ground, which you cannot see. So there's a lot of things unseen in the Grand Canyon. There are many military bases and DUMS bases in the Grand Canyon. So I think as the future, moves forward and disclosure comes to the forefront of what we really would like to know, I believe the Grand Canyon may be very pivotal in our story.
I believe that also. Also, for everyone coming to Bastrop, I want to invite the conversation to what can you do in your life. So there's a lot of designers, architects out there. It can be how you make your two things on your tabletop, the intention, the frequency, what is created by that. Whether you're working on small projects, big projects, it doesn't matter. Bring the frequency of beauty to it. Come talk to me about it. I'm actually doing a tour through Florence, Italy, staying in the villa that Galileo lived in. And we're going to be exploring some amazing, forgotten, beautiful things, the gardens, the villas, the masterpieces that were created, the architecture, because all those things awaken. So that was like our last golden civilization, the Renaissance.
Yes.
So we're going to go back there, pick up a few of those codes, and infuse it with all the stuff doing. So neoclassical and ancient all coming together, whole new alchemy, whole new mix. That's what the new cities of light are.
Sign me up. My main thing is reconnecting with our past and recreating some of the things that were for health and wellness and for humanity. There are beings out there that remember how to build these temples, and it's not just rock and stone. It's not just geometry. Do you ever ask yourself, how do you create the greatest piezoelectric effect? Do you think those rocks in those pillars, in the real temples, are just made of solid granite? No, there could be all different types of crushed crystals or crystal formations inside of those stones that are recompressed in a rock formation.
Oh yeah, they have recipe for Roman concrete.
There's technology that has been hidden. Some of the technology I'm sure that you saw in Egypt, you can talk about with it looked like concrete.
Yes.
Okay, I saw the very same thing when I went up Mount Shasta, and I didn't go on Bunny Flats or the normal hiking trail. I hiked the eastern side of that mountain, and as I was hiking about 8 hours in, I looked up over my left shoulder and I saw an old ancient causeway, and it looked like cement. There are places on the backside of Mount Shasta on the eastern side, you can go there with a camera and film. They're like, that looks like cement. Someone built a causeway, because back in the day, for example, Shasta, there used to be an old causeway that went from the lower level all the way to the top. There was a bridge that went all the way to the very top. It's all been collapsed and destroyed at this point, but there are many locations on Earth where you can find that sort of those outcroppings of different things that look just like cement. You've been around the planet many times, such as I. Why don't you talk about some of the different things you've discovered in some of these ancient places?
Well, first of all, I want to say this. I want to say, you wonder why do you have to go there? Well, I'm obsessed with going to these ancient sites that are beautiful. I mean, there's endless archaeological digs happening right now, all the stuff being uncovered. But there's something about putting your physical body there, because you can go to these sites, and that's why you go in person to the mission, because there's a DNA activation that happens. Also, something else I discovered, I was standing in front of a Picasso painting at a museum, right where Picasso made the drawing, was painting, and I stepped into his frequency. I went to the Last Supper in Milan, stood where Michelangelo was directing that, stepped into that frequency. These codes go into us on higher levels. So the more we awaken this, the more we are able to do the job of building this new golden civilization.
Yes. That being said, what are some of the things that you're working on right now with developing, obviously, the architecture and rebuilding some of these temples?
Okay, so my area of specialty is wellness. So creating temples, I'm doing interiors of homes, as well as building temples. I'm working on 2 healing campuses with multiple buildings for education, for spas, for places that are massively concentrated areas of coherence. How to get the human being aligned with the earth, aligned with the natural, organic, Christed DNA, how to get all that back into ourselves, back to this level of heaven meeting earth. It's not about going to heaven. It's not about being super grounded. It's that middle place. We are bringing heaven to us. We have the ability. We have the technology. We have the artistic talent. Another thing that happens is bringing in and appreciating the frequency of beauty. That is a design amenity. So in every project I work on, amenities can be, so every project I work on, there's a level of beauty which serves a purpose. So check this out. You know when you eat something and it may not be the best thing, but your level of enjoyment is so high, you know it's upticking your DNA? Same with architecture, interiors, all those spaces that we create, the level of enjoyment. So that is one of the factors. We think about building these new golden cities of light, and everyone's into like this, you know, all of the permaculture, all of the different schools of thought on what do these cities of light look like? What are we going to put into them? What is the architecture? Is it ancient Islamic, bringing it back? What is the geometry? Well, how about beauty as a number one overriding principle? Because that is a healing aspect. And that's what's behind the ancient study of temple design. What is it an 8-point grid? What is the intention? Where is the telluric currents under the temple? If you break it all down, there's many factors. And guess what a large one is? Your intention. Your intention of how 100%. You're creating and building, where you're coming from. So it's an inside and outside job. Frequency inside, frequency matching outside, bringing in frequency of beauty, and building places that are helping uplift people, helping uplift cities, civilizations, monumental buildings. Where's the monuments that used to be built? Right. Where's the Cathedral of Milan that has hundreds of beautiful angels and beings carved just on the rooftop? Where's the technology that built that? You know,
Yes.
we see nothing like that these days.
And I think that it's our job right now to remember these technologies and how they were implemented in the past, and also recreate some of these things in a different way. I think with the new advents of different technologies, you know, everything from 3D printers to, you know, I can't wait to pour with a 3D printer. There's new technologies coming out that, you know, for example, Cobod, I should say, that they can print a 3,000 square foot warehouse in 72 hours.
What?
3,000 square foot warehouse. In
What's the material?
70
Is it like-
concrete.
What?
Yeah, so there's a lot of new technology in just implementing it in a way, especially with the right geometry. And for me, my specialty is alchemy. And that has always been something that's really fascinated with me. You know, the difference when you walk into a really holy place, it's not just the geometry. You have to remember from the foundational stone up, what is the components, what is the metallurgy, what is the mixing, what is the alchemy of the space. So it's not just the architecture, it's also what is it made out of? Does it oscillate? What's its speed? How fast do the walls oscillate? Can they oscillate? Now you mix that with frequency like they do in the Great Pyramid of Giza. That's why they don't let you ohm in the Great Pyramid of Giza, which was standard. We did on December.
Of course, we did do.
We definitely did it in 2012 when I was there with my team. But the thing is that some of these old architectures work with sound and vibration. That's how they were created in the first place. We re-implement that vibration, boom, the thing turns back on. So I think there's a lot of new technology, especially with, I believe it was IBM that loaded, I believe, I don't know, a terabyte or two of information onto a crystal. Right? Loaded it up with a bunch of programs and then was able to upload that information off of that crystal. Well, now think about this. How many crystals out there, Lemurian crystals out there, are programmed with data?
Oh my God.
Can you imagine if we could actually upload and retrieve the information off some of the stored crystals on this planet? I think that the true history of Earth and some of these ancient technologies might be found in a very privatized way, whoever figures that out. All of that information is stored in all those crystals, and there's even crystal skulls, like, you know what I mean? that are out
Of
there.
course. Of course.
So I think the implementation of remembering who we are, where we come from, some of these ancient technologies, and I think that's going to be one of the main things I'm going to be speaking about in Bastrop,
Right.
You know, at our Team Light Solar Activation.
I want to invite some people to
Yeah.
come talk to me at the event. So here's my invitation. At Bastrop, come find me. I'm working on several different campuses that there's educational buildings, there's living quarters, there's living towers. There's all kinds of new uses. I know of one person who's doing a whole campus, there's going to be a birthing temple in it. So come talk to me. I want to share with you what's going on. There's a lot of roles here to get involved. I know a lot of people are like, how do I get involved in one of these things? There's many things happening. So I want to invite that conversation.
Yes. And with that being said, ladies and gents, come see us in Bastrop, April 7th, April 8th. And it's been an absolute pleasure having you here on our interviews, Giselle. Is there anything else you'd like to say?
You know what? I just want to say thank you for having me here. I want to express my appreciation for our beloved friendship all these years. You know, here we are still doing it. I applaud everyone out there who's doing their job, whatever it is,
Yes.
to either be a fighter for what's happening, to be a guardian, to be a creator. We need all the souls right now coming together, which is what will be happening at this event. And I just think it's a beautiful thing. So here we are. We're inviting people. There's going to be a lot of love shared. And of course, that's the highest frequency, a lot of supreme appreciation for what we're all doing. So I'm just extending my heart and inviting people, come talk to me, come meet me. Let me share with you what I'm working on. And yeah, thank you, Rion.
You're very welcome. And for all of our Texas family out there, come check us out, teamlightstore.com/events. We have one of the #1 sound healers in all of Austin giving us a sound bath during the eclipse. It's catered. We have a live DJ and live music from Leo King every single night. And we will be broadcasting live from High Vibe TV, the actual eclipse. So it's going to be a lot of fun.
Nice.
So until then, peace.
Thank you, Rion.
Hold me close so I can breathe. Let me go so I can live. Where do we go from here? Take me far away, so we can stop the time and love will take its place. Where do we go from here? Take me far away, so we can stop the time, and love will take its place. It will be tonight.
Gabriel, we got him on the run. Gabriel.
It will be tonight when I turn up the stars for you. It will be tonight when I turn up the world for you. It will be tonight when I turn up the stars. I turn up the stars for you. Rewind, forget your past. I'm here to make it last. Where we're going, we don't need maps. Take a chance with the Wall Street crash. I feel what you feel, that our love is strong. And I hear what you hear, it's our favorite song. And I taste what you taste, it's the sweetest kiss.
Yeah, you just realized where he was. Come on. Hey, dude.
Fucking kidding me?
Yeah.
This is death.
I know.